This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free, and the creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
That's not fun. It's whatever you want to do.
Episode 33. Charlie.
Jesus, it's been 33. My God.
We're doing this for solid 33 plus weeks. That's saying something.
Oh my God, you poor audience.
It's almost been a year. It's almost going to be a year. It's like starting in like June or July.
That's nuts.
Which is absolutely insane.
That's so crazy. I didn't realize we were doing this. This has honestly like been so much fun. Like,
This is the highlight of the year.
Same. This is definitely like something that's helped me throughout the fucking winter.
Right?
It's been
Cabin
so
fever
boring.
all the way. But episode 33. Let's go.
Hello.
So we've been gone for a week.
Yes.
I think
so. Yeah. I like to think so.
Yeah, so we've been gone for a week at least, and I guess we could do catch up. Do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. Had to mainly I'm doing kind of what you're doing right now is just getting rid of thesis, getting my website updated, and then working on my old film to clean it up and just put it on the website. I can also, if you'd like, put it on the Tanuki Studios.
Yeah.
As well, so you guys could check that out when it's finished. But yeah, it's just mainly getting all the regular stuff in, and then I'm working on my summer courses right now at NCC, which it's going all right. It's going all right.
That's good to hear.
It's interesting because the classes are all like recorded lecture. So,
so it's kind of asynchronous if you.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm fine with that. That's not the.
That's good though.
Yeah, it's like I don't have to sign in every week. I just do it and be done with it. That's good for me. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, it's pretty much kind of that. It's been kind of slow. Been reading a lot. Watching a few shows, catching up a little bit on Netflixio. But yeah, that's pretty much it. How about you, Davis?
Yeah, it's been pretty chill. I've been doing most of my senior project stuff, dealing with that. I'm halfway through the animatic.
Nice.
Which is good, because, like, because, like, when I look at boards, right, I feel like my boards are really shitty compared to yours. But, like, when I look at, like, It Takes Two, his boards, I'm like, my boards aren't so bad.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's funny because like they say you don't have to be an artist for boards, and it's like that's true.
That's the truth to some degree.
Yeah.
Where it's like you need to know composition and like how lighting should work,
where a camera's supposed to go.
Yeah, it's
the composition of a scene. Yeah.
If anything, if you're a board director, you would be good for a lot of camera stuff and a lot of like cinematography.
Yeah.
Because you're usually drawing and making sure like this lighting's okay, and also you're working with cinematographers and directors at the same time anyway. So It's like you kind of rub off on each other or rub each other off, either way.
Both's a good time, am I right?
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, this podcast has gone in a direction.
But yeah, so I've been doing the animatic. Mini documentaries coming along pretty well.
Nice.
I do like the little like recap week of every Sunday. So I might include actually the podcast in there too, because we're talking about it right now.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so basically I chose like a little script that I've been working on, because you know how like I built like the universe, right? On Pacifica Island, because you have the Holy Church with New Age exorcists, and you have like the mech part later on, but this is kind of like in between that part where it's like it's halfway between science and magic, where it's kind of like more of like a standard Iron Man story.
Yeah.
So basically it's like, okay, this kid's kind of like foretold, but like it's kind of chosen specifically because like he has the attributes of the person who came before him.
Right.
So
it's
kind
like
of
a Green Lantern prophecy.
Yeah, kind of
type.
that thing where it's like the next hero is someone who could uphold the ideals of justice. So like he thinks that he did it because he has a righteous heart, but in reality, kind of the sort of both column A, column B. So the main character, like one of the main characters, Professor Hero, kind of like revolves around like going past New Age Exorcist timeline anything that starts from like that, therefore on, always centers around Professor Hero and like him developing the Hero project.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hero project is basically his like kind of farewell, like his remembrance gift to his friend who he helped develop the Excalibur suit.
Yeah.
So like the main character's name is Arthur. So it's kind of like this kind of foretelling, like kind of
the
like,
round table.
the round table a bit. But one thing that I did include differently was like, his friend's name's Rex, but Rex inside Latin means king. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, in the first episode of like what I've written so far, the final battle is Rex versus Arthur, and a battle more of ideals. Because Rex in itself, he has a good heart, but like he kind of goes about it wrong. He's very easy manipulated, and then
he's like the what's his name? The betrayer in Arthur lore. Mordred, yeah. He's sort of like Mordred.
It's kind of like more Mordred, but like I'm going to save that kind of role later on.
Oh, okay.
So like right now it's kind of like they're just working something out, because like the whole entire episode's like, okay, you see the beginning of like how he's training to become the next like hero, I guess, for the next symbol of like peace and like heroicism.
Yeah.
But then towards the end, it's kind of like it's kind of like that Spider-Man aspect where like you need balance social with hero stuff, which is one of the more interesting facts about like superheroes, because we don't really see a lot of the personal sides to that.
Right. Yeah. The relationship and also like how it would work.
Secret identity, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like but like I'm like fuck it. At the end, I'm just like he just takes off his helmet and just goes ham, and just that's kind of the point, because a lot of times like the mask comes off, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like him showing that he is still the same person, but yet he still has changed. So that's kind of like my metaphor for the entire like, I may be someone different now, but I'm still your friend.
Right.
So that's kind of
just
like,
because my role has changed doesn't mean I'm not the same person.
there for you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of the thing about that, and yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot.
Other than that, I went to play Yu-Gi-Oh last night. I drove 2 hours to Sellington, which really sucks, because like, because I usually go down to Rochester, right? Which is only like barely an hour. It's like 30 minutes, not even.
Right.
But like all my friends live up in Mid-State, Connecticut. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta go up there and play with them, because like it's fun. I like playing with friends. I don't want to like kind of play against stranger constantly. So I went up there yesterday. I did decently. I did one win, 2 losses. But like,
nice.
For the 2 losses, they always went to game 3. So it's like the deck that I was playing is still pretty good. I just screwed up some combos, which is natural in like brick hands and whatnot. So it's like one of those things. But the funny thing about that, I was playing this really hefty kid, he was playing a singular type deck, which is Cyber Dragons, which is just basically machine light monsters. So we went to game 2. I decided there only could be one, which is a card that prevents the opponent from summoning multiple of the same type monster. And like he got so mad, I could see the blood rushing to his head. We had to call a judge. We had to call everything. I was like, Christ, I know how this works. You're just making it so much harder. You're just gonna make a fool out of yourself.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean there only gonna be one? What the fuck? What does it look like Vegas?
I still haven't seen the Jurassic Park video.
I did not watch it. That is 2 hours I'm not willing to put down.
You can't survive 2 hours of Nostalgia Critic. I did watch his Prince of Egypt
one. That's fine.
That was a good one.
Like, I honestly, like, I'll say this. Prince of Egypt is probably one of those things where it's like, it makes
so good
sense.
Yeah.
For what it is. But I just don't feel like it's not the greatest one he's done, though.
Oh, yeah. I definitely, like, as a kid, I like watching it as young. It's always cool. Like, he, like, remarks on it and, like, talks about it. Because I was, like, to myself, I was like, this is really cool. And having him, agreeing with me was nice. Because I like the validation. But, and then, like, him talking about certain facts about the show. Because I watch a movie. I'm like, that's great. And I just move on and watch the credits, see who's in it. I'm like, cool. But then hearing, like, all these backstage facts and all these, like, stuff, like, oh, did you know?
Yeah, it's like the Amazon Prime stuff. Like, oh, did you know that it took 25 times to shoot this one scene?
Snapple fact.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I agree with that. Shooting a scene 25 times makes a lot of sense, especially if you're doing, like, advanced techniques.
Yeah.
So doing it more than once wouldn't be out of
out of
place.
What's also really cool is that I watched a review or like a reaction of it with these but I just watched a video of these priests watching it, and they were commenting on like the biblical aspect of it.
Oh yeah, so like
and like the scene where he talks to the burning bush it's funny that they're talking about. He's like, yeah, he refutes 3 times that he can't do it, but every time he says it, in the background you can hear God giving the response, like what he would say, what he would do,
Yeah.
and like he's just ignoring it all because he hates himself, and it's like
Exactly.
that's such a cool fucking.
It's one of those things where it's like when I did a paper on it, when I researched it, it was like they consulted Muslims, Jews, and Christians about the entire
So
story,
cool.
which is really interesting because I don't think you would get that much like representation through like and kind of research through that kind of movie because you think they just go for the Bible 1-to-1.
Oh yeah, just get the one perspective on it, but they have, it's like now it's like you really just, if you want a really good movie, you got to get all the reference in. You have to get all the sides.
You need to understand everything.
It's so good, and the music's great too.
Yeah,
that's an easy A+ right there. Speaking of animated movies, I just watched Pocahontas for the first time.
Oh, you haven't watched Pocahontas?
Never watched. I've seen
Really?
like the clip. I've seen like the one song where it's like savages, savages. Da, 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 da. That was the only part that I've ever watched, I think. And so I was like, okay, but I can't believe I've never watched this before. But let's watch it, and it was really good. I definitely see like this is a fucking high budget Disney.
Yeah.
This is one of the coolest ones.
Something they wouldn't cut, but
No, yeah.
something they cut out Peter Pan.
It was funny because I noticed in the movie the comedy relief, back then in those days, like there wasn't really that much.
No, it was, if anything, it was relegated to like the animal.
Yeah, there was the animals, like, but they weren't really in the way. They were just kind of
like
in the
goofing, dicking around.
and eventually they just kind of like stopped showing up altogether by the end of it. I mean, they usually do.
Yeah.
Those comedy relief characters usually get the fuck out eventually. But, unlike Hunchback of Notre Dame, where they almost fucking ruined the movie, these ones I was glad to see. And it's just a pretty movie. Yeah. It's a very pretty movie. The animation.
Oh, you know what we should talk about?
What?
We should talk about Demon Slayer. We saw that last week.
Yes. Well, let me just finish my quick synopsis of Pocahontas. Fantastic movie. Pacing was really good. The bad guy wants the gold.
But there is no gold. What is this, Road to El Dorado?
Oh, that was a great movie too. But yeah, it was really, it was fantastic animation. The backgrounds were amazing. My jaw dropped every time I looked at it. Every frame of animation, every background, every song, I was like, this is
good.
Amazing. And to think that the people who weren't working on this were working on the B movie, The Lion King.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because my teacher back then, when I was in freshman year, always told me that, he was relegated to the B team, which was working on that. And I was like, that's crazy.
It's like that Shrek story because, like,
yeah,
it's like for DreamWorks, being relegated to work on Shrek was like being sent to the gulag.
Yeah.
And that's being sent to the B team. Even though that movie is like now a cult fan favorite and like 20 years old now.
It's so funny. And it's got like 5 different sequel movies. It's so crazy.
It's just, chef's kiss.
It's like, even the sequel was pretty good too.
I enjoyed 2. 3 was okay.
I don't remember 3 that much.
I didn't like the last one. The last one was weird because like they did the whole time travel thing. It was just like, this was like a really early lesson. It was like, I think it was the one where it was like, do the roar. It was just like, Christ, this is what you really want to be doing right now?
Yeah.
I don't think it is needed the 4th. I think 3 is the magic number.
Yeah, I think so too. But Demon Slayer. So that's a very
Demon Train, yeah.
So good.
It was good. I enjoyed it. It's pretty okay, so this is gonna be heavy spoilers, but like, you should have seen it by now because it's been out for like a good month and a half at least.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
It's been out for at least a month. Even if it's seen in theaters, it's on streaming on Sony, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you could go pick that up immediately for like $10 or 12, whatever. But fucking Christ, it's pretty metal how he cuts off his head every single time to get out of the dream.
That was so cool. Just a quick side thing though. What kind of annoys me, I went to see some reviews and some people were saying, okay, so, I didn't really watch the show, but I watched the movie anyway. And I felt like it was really hard for me to get into. I'm like, no shit, idiot.
Shit, Sherlock.
I'm like, why the fuck are you reviewing this movie if you haven't seen the show? I'm sorry if it's like you think this would make sense, but no, what the fuck is wrong with you? Sorry, I'm just getting a little angry because it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's
just like, yeah, if you're not gonna watch the movie, if you're gonna watch a movie that's related to the show,
Yeah.
then you have to watch it. It's not one of those one-off things where it's just like non-canon. It's not like Pokemon where it's like, oh, this is not canon, so like I don't have to think about it, right?
Yeah, and it's like if you do a little bit of research, you would hear people say like, "Yeah, this is a continuation of the story.
This
This
is
is
a
not."
continuation. It's this arc is so short that they decided just to make a movie out of it, which is fine because it
Yes.
was fairly short.
Yeah, and I will say like it doesn't. The look of it looks great, but it doesn't like go too far ahead of the anime. That it doesn't. That it kind of like whatever I'm
It's
saying.
UFO table. It's consistent.
Yeah, it's consistent. It doesn't go too crazy. Like, doesn't be like, oh, we're just jumping quality, from the show.
Exactly.
And the show's like already really good quality anyway. But
The thing also that helps out with the CG is that UFO table does really good work in the dark.
yeah,
So it's one of those things where it's like if you properly lit all those scenes, it probably look really shit. But it moves so fast and it's like kind of benign to you, so you don't really it doesn't really matter
yeah, I've heard
how lighting is because it's so dark. You're not really looking at it properly and like lighting and stuff.
I've heard some people complain about the part where he turns into spoilers. The demon turns into a train.
Oh,
Becomes a gooey monster. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's fine. I think it works. Like you said, it works fine in the dark and like it's properly well lit. You could see what's going on and you can understand what the concept of it is. But it's like, they have to, they can't, they have to figure out some ways to make it work.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those things where it's like I think if like he was always the train, but then the body was kind of like a double extension of him, would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think so
story
too.
wise, and then it's kind of like okay, if you cut off the train, you cut off the train's head or whatever.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It's just that I don't think she thought of it ahead of time because if having like a final form is kind of hard to do, especially like with a large train.
Yeah. Some people were saying that kind of took them out of the movie. I was like, well, you're watching a series that's about people literally breaking the laws of physics and magic and bullshit. So I really don't think that it really shouldn't be the thing that breaks your imagination.
Yeah, you face off Medusa guy, basically. He has the arrows, which literally just makes you go different directions. This is literally the Medusa, like, arrow gridlock from Soul Eater.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? So it's like, I get it. Like, I mean, it wasn't really hinted at. You really didn't see, like, him, I guess, merging with the train. That might have...
Yeah.
There wasn't really as much a build-up to it. I can understand that. But it's like...
It would make a lot more sense if he was a train from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said. Like, give hints towards that. But really, it's like, those are small nitpicks. It's like, in reality, like, those are very small things in the grand scheme of it.
It's like, you're not... It's a movie. It's only an hour 30.
Yeah.
You're not really going to care about the entire story at this point. It's one of those things where it's like Lupin the Third. You're kind of there for the joyride, and not necessarily there for like.
Yeah, you're a fan. They made this like you are watching it. You were like these are for the people who are watching the show and are following along with the story. These are not for people who are just like, oh, it's a one-off. Yeah. It's like, no.
We should watch Lupin though. I think you enjoy it just because like it's a wide variety of action and comedy. I think that's like more up your alley.
Have you seen the show on Netflix, the new version of Lupin? Well, it's
the black guy.
Yeah, the black one.
No, I refuse to watch it just because I just don't want to.
I watched it.
I just don't want to watch it just because like I had too much things to watch. Like it just like live action stuff like doesn't enthrall me as much. Like there's certain things like I'll watch like bad Japanese live action movies just because it's funny. That's the kind of the point of it. Like Kaguya, Love is War live action, Assassination Classroom live action. It's funny. It's funny bad. It's like The Room, but like a little bit better. It's a bit cringeworthy, but it's fair. The writing is there. It's like the acting's there. Just like the CG and stuff is kind of weird, and like the props are just kind of like low budget, which is fine. It's just funny to me, especially if you're inside film, like how many tricks you see they do constantly. It's just like, yeah, I see why they did that. Like a low budget going for a high reward,
So you're saying like, do you think Lupin this version is like the anime? Or you're saying it's based? Or you're saying it's based off that?
No, I'm just saying they're just using the name, and that's what I don't like about it. Yeah, I'm just like saying like, yeah, high stakes like that is fun and all, but just like, I don't want like the reason why I like Lupin the Third is because it's such a mixed bag of episodes. It keeps you on your toes. But like I understand, like I guarantee I know like a couple plot points about Lupin where it's like it's constant like high action thriller, suspense, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. It's like a mystery thriller / like heist kind of thing. I don't want to spoil too much, but the first episode is basically like your normal everyday heist, and then it kind of splinters off into this like murder mystery kind of thing where he has to find out. So his dad was framed for like a theft he didn't commit and hanged himself in jail as a result of it. And so like the main character Lupin, well his name's not Lupin, but whatever.
He's using the in like Inamaka.
He was inspired by him,
Yeah.
and he's like the modern generation. It's like Sherlock. Think of Sherlock the show.
Yeah, the
but
BBC
the
one, but for
Lupin.
Lupin.
Yeah, and so like think of it like that, where he now has to figure out his father's death, and like who was involved in it, and then also pay them back. Basically, it's less about him robbing people. Well,
Yeah,
he kind of robs people, but it's like a different setup every episode.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't want to like watch. Is like I just don't want to get really invested in a lot of things.
It is only 5 episodes.
It's probably like an hour long each one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
45 hour, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, the story isn't finished. Like, they literally stop it in the middle of a cliffhanger. And I'm like,
which also sucks because like
Yeah.
you know they're going to make a second season. 'cause
they
it's
literally
probably
said
did
part
well.
2's coming out in June, which I'm like, you could have just came out with 10 episodes.
Exactly. You just like come out.
And
I mean, if they had to stop production halfway because of Corona, right?
yeah,
That makes sense. I wouldn't put it against if they had to stop production for that. But
That's
I
fair.
guarantee they didn't. They just did it because they could.
yeah. And I was curious. I mean, like, it definitely hooks you in with the concept, and like, it's cool to see like the Sherlock, the Lupin version of Sherlock. Basically, it's cool in that sense. And if you got time, I'd say why not? It's definitely not a harm. But yeah, I mean, if you got other stuff to watch, it's like that's definitely not the immediate thing you should pay attention to. If you got like a fun like animated show like Castlevania season 4,
Fuck yeah.
dude, it's good. It was very good. Did we already?
Castlevania is probably one of those things where it's like the consistency of everything is definitely what I would say is the best part of the show. The comedy as well,
Yeah,
and the actions. It's also cool because like you see a lot like on Twitter and stuff. Like it's Powerhouse Animation, but they also like do cleanup stuff for like the other studios do cleanup stuff like studio. I forgot what the other studio was, but they did a lot of cleanup work for them, and they do a lot of coloring and stuff. And that's what I think we should try to aim for first before trying to
yeah,
do that. Is like produce like we do line work, coloring,
yeah. I mean,
and
it
that kind
also
of
it's
stuff,
like
which is good.
yeah, I think that's good too. Just to also learn from the people who have done this for longer than us, and like get used to that kind of stuff, and know like they did this in this scene. It's like okay, that's cool.
Here's
to
what
learn
they
from
used in here, and
Yeah, and you just learn from it and take baby steps.
It's also interesting to see like how they animate with layouts and stuff because like they use the full color thing and like just slightly darker color for shadows, and then they'll go from there from.
Do they do the Japan thing where they do the?
It's like a slight mixture because Japan usually you would use multiple colors like green, red, blues, and yellows to differentiate what color is supposed to be there.
Oh, okay.
That's why you kind of like when you look at early cells like of like One Piece and stuff, like you'll see the Genga at least, you'll see like them coloring shadows in red, colors and yellow, and like whites and blues.
Oh, okay.
So they'll do a lot of that to make sure like people understand like what color is supposed to be there. So
okay.
But Powerhouse does a mixture of that, so they use like a full color body first when doing everything, and then they'll go in and slightly adjust inside the coloring process, which is okay. It's just that it's kind of least effective that way because if you already pre-plan everything out that way, then you already know what to color and what not to color in.
Yeah.
Coloring is hard though, because like, you have to go by frame to make sure everything's colored in. But usually you're working in layers anyway, so it's like it doesn't get really hard. And hopefully you have a good enough paint software. One thing I did actually use recently is OpenTunes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free software, so it's like basically Flash but made more catered to like Japanese studios.
Right. I will certainly say it's a lot easier than painting it. Painting it traditionally. But yeah. Well, but the software you're using? Sorry.
I'm using Clip Studio and OpenTunes, so I'll do all the line work and stuff inside Clip Studio. Then I'll export that as a OpenTunes file, and then I'll open up inside OpenTunes to do coloring because it retains layers. Mm-hmm. So I could just like okay here and here as this layer, and then I'll just color in everything, and then that's a whole shebang about that.
Nice.
Which is fun. I enjoy it.
OpenTunes, gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's free. So they also have a really cool cloud AI called Kumo Works.
Mm-hmm.
which is basically you kind of just pick the lighting and then you draw like a shape, and then it'll be part of that cloud and it looks really good.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I really feel like digitally speaking, like it's come a long way. You know, just like computers are able to tell you, like you're able to tell a computer exactly what you want, and they're able to figure in, like,
Yeah.
okay, we could do it for you that way.
I'll save this for backgrounds. Definitely AI is the way to go at certain extents, but when you need to do the finer touches, you might as well do hand drawn at certain points.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm trying-
Character animation
yeah.
wise, especially.
I'm trying to use Blender for backgrounds inside of my final project, so it's kind of like I have to stylize it properly enough to like make it look like that. Because like Blender does a really good job of procedural generation of buildings and stuff. So like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'll just procedurally generate out all of these stuff, and then I'll go to like different areas and like build different models, which is fun. I don't mind that. It's like building Legos, but like smaller. It's like Warhammer.
Yeah, pretty pricey though.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like I think when you get into Warhammer and that kind of stuff, like the minifigurines, I think 3D printing is really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
But like not everyone owns a 3D printer because that's like $300 plus, and then you have to buy plastics and like all the paints and stuff still. So you might as well just go and buy the regular Warhammer figurines.
I could bet you that being a figure painter, like as a job for Warhammer, probably pays a ton. Like if you're just an independent painter and you're like people will send you sculpts that you can paint, I'm sure that you could earn a pretty fair amount.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you ship it properly though back to the person.
That's true. I've seen some pretty cool sculpts. Like there's one it's like a Jedi one where it's like the lightsaber actually lights up from the bottom if you hit a button. That one person worked on. I was like, that's really cool, the lighting aspect. But have we talked about season 4 of Castlevania? I just want to.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, I believe.
Right.
Because we talked about like the entire kind of plot structure and like the ending with Dracula.
Yeah.
We were kind of confused about that, but then it was like,
Right.
oh, it's kind of like their kind of heaven, I guess, kind of stuff. I was like, okay,
The good ending.
it's a good ending.
Yeah, unlike the regular game story, which just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they also did a Lord of Shadows, I think it's called, because like that's the one where you play as Dracula.
Oh yeah, real. Oh yeah.
Because Lord of Shadow, like Castlevania Lord of Shadows, that's the one where you actually play as the vampire, which is kind of fun. It's different, but it's fun.
Yeah, get the flip side version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, what they're gonna do with the series from now on.
I think it's done.
Yeah.
If anything, they're probably gonna do a new one where it's like, okay, this is the basic like Trevor Belmont and stuff, you know.
I know that they're gonna do a spin-off series.
For Alucard.
Probably, or for maybe Isaac or Hector, or not Hector, maybe Isaac. But yeah, I definitely think Alucard would be one. And I know that this is from a while ago, but I know that they were thinking of doing a Devil May Cry series. I don't know if that
Devil May Cry would work well because it's
it's
one of those things where you can't expand upon the action because it's always the high thing, you know.
Yeah,
it's like you don't really play Devil May Cry for the fucking story. Obviously, it's more of the high action stuff.
It's like the Dragon Ball thing where it's like, okay, who's the next one? You know, who's the next
exactly?
Big
Who's the next big demon we could fucking?
Is it Virgil for the 50th time?
Exactly.
Because Virgil is the best.
I really hope they don't.
They might, but they're hinting at a crossover between the two. They were gonna make it.
I really hope they don't though, because like Devil May Cry is such a series where it's just like
it's a gameplay series.
It's a gameplay series. You're not playing it really for the story.
Yeah, though I'm curious if they're gonna make a new Devil May Cry game. Probably not,
because like DMC, like the reboot, it's a really nice game to play. But it's a shitty story.
Oh yeah,
and that's been from the get go. Devil May Cry has always been a shitty story.
It's been an okay story. I like it fine, but it definitely, like, compared to other games that are story centric, it's definitely like it doesn't compare. It depends on like what you prefer. If you like the edgy demon stuff, it's like okay, I could see that, and the brother conflict is there, and it's kind of cool.
But it's been outplayed, like 'cause it's been like literally after the third game. Dante kills Virgil.
Yeah, he sends him to the Shadow Realm. Yeah.
And then like we get introduced to Nero in 4, but everyone fucking hated Nero just because like we didn't want another Devil May Cry like this because like we want to see Dante. And it was just dumb at the end where it's kind of like, oh yeah. And then they make like Virgil Nero's father. I was like, Jesus Christ, how fucking.
Well, that was told when he was first shown. Like that's a thing, but Yeah, no. I mean, I could tell that they were trying to pass on the torch, and I thought like Nero fine. Um, but yeah, I don't know if they could end it there. I think they could
I think
totally
5
end it.
is fine. 5 is probably like the nice ending point.
That's the best it could probably reach, honestly.
Exactly.
That's the quintessence. That's what they were going for, right? That's their magnum
Bro, the
opus.
problem resolved, and then
The problem's been resolved.
we have a
Everyone's
demon hunter in above the world.
the next
so it's
generation
fine.
leads on. We
I
got
really don't think they're gonna come out with another one until like 10 years later when they do a whole entire reboot.
yeah, it's Nero's great,
Or like Dante's Secret Love Child or whatever, because they know they're gonna do something like that, which is fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's about family. Oh,
Isn't like Dante's voice actor just like a crazy hillbilly when he comes down once a month or once a blue moon just to voice him?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's who he is.
Is that true? That's
Yeah.
amazing. Shit. What was it? Yeah, I know people. Oh shit. I was just thinking.
Devil May Cry, Dante. Ruben Langdon. What the fuck has he done?
I know people, for one thing, are expecting. Well, I know people are kind of hoping for a. I don't know. You're not too into fighting games, Dave. I don't know if you are into.
I'm into fighting games. It's just that I know. Oh wait, what the fuck? Apparently he's Ken inside Smash Bros. Ultimate, but that's pretty much it. He's Ken and Dante.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
He plays Ken inside all of the Street Fighter
series.
So
okay.
he's basically Ken and Dante. That's pretty
cool.
much it.
That's cool. I thought you were gonna say Dante and Smash. What?
No.
Though people did really want him in there.
I really don't think Dante would be a fun character, but I don't think it's like we'd be hyped up because it's more of a Sony like kind of thing.
You got Bayonetta, you're fine. It's
exactly.
Like, that's your action game
they
character.
Should add, Hyrule Warriors Impa. Because
that would be
that'd
cool.
Be a fun play set because you got to do ice walls, you got to do time stop and stuff.
It's a Nintendo first party character, which they love.
Exactly. It's like you can't really be mad about that because it's another Zelda rep. Because you have 3 Links, 1 Zelda, and 1 Ganon.
Yeah, I'm also. This is gonna mention before, but people were also talking about Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, that game's dead. After the last one, it's not coming back.
Yeah, and then there's also rumors that there's going to be a Marvel vs. DC fighting game.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Which there are rumors, but yeah, no, I don't know if that's going to happen. And people are saying that that's going to officially kill Marvel vs. Capcom if it does happen. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't know. They definitely have if they came out with a new one, they'd have a fucking stacked roster. They could put the new Leon in there, Nero, Monster Hunter, like all these new IPs that they've made or reinvented IPs from older series back into the game, and that'd be so sick. But I know that Marvel nowadays, like I don't know if it's Marvel or Capcom itself or both of them.
I think it's just Disney.
Yeah, it's probably Disney.
It's the same excuse that I think Disney can't allow Sora and Smash. Because they're not going to allow Donald and Goofy, and that be the entire, like, why if you're going to put Sora, you have to put Donald and Goofy in.
Yeah, it's going to, because they're the quintessential, yeah.
Right there. Because, like, it's one of those things where it's just, like, it makes sense of, like, Sora would be a really good character. It'd be another anime sword fighter, but, like, it'd be kind of different with, like, it'd be more of a hero thing, which is kind of shitty in its own respect, because, like, it basically would be a carbon copy of Hero.
Yeah. I haven't heard. Have you heard anything news-wise Ultimate in general?
No, they're not going to come out until, like, probably E3, which is in June.
Okay.
Which is fine.
A lot of stuff coming out in June.
They might come out with a Super Nintendo Switch, which I would be happy for, just because it's probably going to run Pokemon Arceus better than...
Yeah.
Because Arceus comes out in January, and if they make it for the October-November release of Diamond and Pearl, then it'll be the perfect bundle to sell, because like Gen 4 remakes are probably going to sell pretty well.
I need to see another trailer for Arceus, like some kind of like just general gameplay trailer.
I think overall it's probably going to be the same inside the trailer, just be like somewhat better frame rate overall.
Yeah,
probably expand because we don't see a lot of it. We only see like limited versions of like specific areas of the wild area technically, and only like one part of the town.
We see a little bit of fighting.
I think at this point it's probably going to be the localization, and that's pretty much it. Because I think the graphics is pretty sad. I think the graphic looks pretty. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I do think that...
Looks like a Pokemon game.
Looks like a Pokemon game. Exactly. It's like one of those things where it's just like... Overall, as... Knowing Pokemon, this is probably like the test version of it. And then the next one's going to be really good. because
Yeah.
like pretty much Sword was a solid test version for like what they're going to do in Arceus, and then Arceus is going to be a really good solid version of it.
They build off of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that. I just want to see what they have in store in terms of actual like gameplay wise, like what we can do.
I think it's the same as a Pokemon. I don't think there's going to be a gym challenge or anything. It's going to be more of like
Exploration bulb.
more exploration / like maybe
Fill up the
Pokemon
decks.
like Alola Gen kind of thing where you have a trial at like overall you face like all the different types, I guess.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
But they did say your goal is to complete the Pokedex technically, so maybe that's pretty much it.
If it is, that's gonna be sad, and that's
Which it kind of is, yeah. Which is going to be sad, but I do think there's going to be more story elements to it, though. There's probably going to be like a good
we're gonna learn more about
probably
creation myth and
30.
with Arceus and all
Probably
that.
be a strong 30-hour game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Overall.
And there was also gonna be this was unconfirmed, but it was on like a site. There were like screenshots or whatever, but like people riding Pokemon, you could like mount them and ride them.
Oh yeah, well that's always been the thing with the Tauros ride and then Go-Goat ride. It's always been that thing where it's like it makes sense. Like that's the next logical step for that. If you own a Pokemon that you could ride, then you could ride it around.
I could also see what happening is like you could upgrade the town like as you
Yeah,
unlock
you
more
find-
Bulbapedia or like the
Pokedex, like you get
Pokedex,
more
yeah.
resources and stuff. That makes more sense.
yeah, exactly, and like add more resources and everything. I could see that being a thing, and I'd be okay with that. I just want to see more. It's
Yeah.
like you've hooked me. Now, please let me know.
They're probably going to do more at E3, definitely.
Yeah.
Because like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, they'll do a lot more at E3 just because.
Is E3 going to be in person this year or online? Is it?
It's always been online technically. So it's like
Fair.
Nintendo always pre-records everything,
Yeah.
and then I guarantee Sony and like not even Sony, Xbox and like everyone else has their own show, so you might as well pre-record it and then show it.
Yeah, I think I like that better too. It's just
It's a lot easier.
gets all the cringe out of the way.
I know.
We can just get to the fun stuff. Still, to this day, the best E3
Keanu Reeves.
well, it was Sony's when it revealed like was the God of War one where it was
Yeah.
the live performance. That was
I think I prefer the State of Plays though. I think the State of Play is a nice like segue between
Yeah.
because like it offers a lot more updates to like what they're doing rather than holding off at one large E3 conference because that's what you don't want to do is to sort of trickle out or you don't want to be one big large info dump. You want to sort of trickle out everything sort of like little by little.
keep us updated
Keep
and
everything
interested.
updated because like it's better marketing strategy because like you spend less money on one big show and spread out the budget
Yeah.
overall.
Plus, people are more informed and word spreads around.
They're not spread around to like kind of watching different streams at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like you make sure you release it on a date where nothing else is being held. So you control that date. You know.
Yeah, I get you. But yeah, looking good for Pokemon right now. I don't know the sales on Snap, but I hear it's pretty popular.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get Snap one in like after them by next month. But like we're gonna play through other things, so
Yeah, as long as no one shoots themselves over it, it should be
Yeah.
fine with the Pokemon cards. It should be fine. Yeah.
yeah, no one brings out the guns.
Target, yeah.
I really think that's a Pokemon right now is sort of like a dying niche, at least for the main public. But like I still,
Yeah, the Monster Tamer.
I still have fun with it, and then I enjoy like playing online TCG. I think you would enjoy the TCG just because it's a lot more simpler than Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I definitely think I would if it's more streamlined.
It is very streamlined of what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
So,
As long as there's stuff to experiment and have fun with, that's fine with me.
yeah.
And then so I've been thinking to myself if I should finally get the light novel for. It's going to be surprising. So I'm a Spider, so what? Because both the manga and anime adaptation are kind of, I don't know, like the manga I found out is like different than the light novel and
Yeah, well, everything the manga adaptation is always sort of different from the light novel in a certain degree.
yeah.
I usually just read the wiki and like plot summaries because I don't want to fucking read entire like 100 to 150, 150 pages of text.
Yeah, I'm just really into the story right now. It's like like I don't really, if I both read and watch the anime of a story, then I'm invested all the way.
Yeah.
So I just really want to know because, well, what's different is like the anime. I've fully caught up, fully watched it, and I was thinking to myself, this is a really cool story, but I really want to continue it. So I was like, might as well just see what the light novel's about. But then I'm debating with myself. I'm like, well, I could just wait for the anime to finish.
I
Because it's following the story apparently somewhat well, but there are a few changes.
humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Humans. But I'd say just read the plot summaries, because like I don't really think a lot of the light novel stuff is that enjoyable to a certain extent if you don't like reading textbooks.
Yeah. I've read
the entire like thing about like manga and stuff is like you see it.
Yeah.
It's a visual art form.
Yeah.
Reading
I get you.
is like okay.
You imagine it.
You imagine it, but like everything's up to interpretation at that point.
Right. It's like you're not really totally sure. But
and plus like some parts will like immediately just break down what's going on, and like you kind of have to memorize who's who and like that kind of stuff too.
What I'm just worried about is that a lot of it is like stats and leveling stuff, and she looks at it and she's talking about it. And I'm like, okay, but how is that? Yeah, exactly. How is that going to translate to like the normal light novel? I'm just worried about that because I'm like,
yeah, because one of those things where it's like I would just read the plot summaries. Do not read the light novels.
Yeah,
because I read the plot summaries of all the Konosuba novels and I get the overall gist of it. I just I just don't really care about the anime or manga anymore.
Right.
Even though I own like the Megumin spin-off over here somewhere down there, the Crimson Demon one. Yeah, just read the plot summary, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, but it's funny because like there's not a lot of isekai that I read or watch. I mean, I read a lot and watch a lot. Well, I read a lot of isekai, and I gotta tell you, there's very few that I'm like, this is really good. I want to learn more about it. So it's like, you know, for those I feel especially fond of, and I want to learn more about. Specifically, Ascendance of the Bookworm, and Jobless Reincarnation. With So Much Better, So What are those three that I really like the most, I think. But it's like, you know, though for the Sentence of the Bookworm and Jobless Reincarnation, I'm totally fine with the manga because like it doesn't stray from the original source material too much, and I can totally understand what's going on. But with So Much Better, So What, the manga updates are just really short, or really the manga updates take a long time.
Yeah,
and there's not a lot of substance.
It's fairly detailed. Though.
Yeah. No, I get it. And there's a lot of story to cover. But I like it. I mean, just basically, I'm just spouting all my concerns about reading a light novel. How much I don't like reading. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. And then like I've just been reading a lot of isekai on the down low.
Yeah.
A lot of small stuff. There are a lot of solo leveling ripoffs.
Yeah, I feel like that's the new genre.
Yeah,
right now. That's gonna be a fad. I do think solo leveling is like a really big fad that's just kind of sprouting right now.
Yeah,
and it's gonna die down like Jujutsu Kaisen because it's not gonna be. They're gonna fuck up somehow.
Well, yeah, it's either gonna slow down or it's just gonna do something that'll be like, what?
Exactly.
But it hasn't done so far, which is nice.
It's like the God of High School debacle where it's like it's really, really just shit at certain points.
The thing with isekai and stories like the solo leveling thing is like they do very small changes. Like they do just a little bit enough. Like I think Gika did a good job of explaining it. It's like they do just a little bit enough to change up the formula, but not enough that it's like, you know, it's like it's the same thing. It's just he's a chef now, or he's a fridge, and it's like, okay.
My apartment got turned into a dungeon. Blah blah blah.
A gate opened up in my bathroom. What am I gonna do? I guess I'll become a god now. And like,
oh, you know, you want to talk about whatchamacallit? To Your Eternity. Have you read that one?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Oh wait, no. Yes, I have. It's the one where he transforms
Wolf
into
Boy.
a. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, I have read a lot of it. Not too much, but I've read.
It's interesting because like it kind of hops around because like we're currently stuck in the episodes like with like the ancient Japanese people, the native islanders.
Yeah. I remember that part. It's been a long time though. It's been a while.
I don't think that's going to go that far overall. It's really beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, but I just don't think it's story wise kind of slow.
Yeah, it's a slow burn, and it's got an interesting story to it. But yeah, it'll take a while.
Yeah,
it's cool though. If you're in for it, then that's great. If you're like a Vinland Saga fan or something, if you're in a slow build with like a satisfying conclusion, yeah, you're down. You'd be down for that. Though Vinland Saga is still fucking going.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's like it just keeps just I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I think I feel like I should have ended this like 20 chapters back, but that's fine. We can keep going. I like the series fine. Um, Speaking of long running series,
Oh, you know what?
Kentaro Miura.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Berserk is done. I don't think it's gonna come back. I think they're just gonna make one last chapter or something and then be done with it.
Fans are saying like, oh, but there's one guy who was an assistant who was like, I'll do my best. And I'm like, I think he's just saying.
He's just saying that, so.
Yeah, and that's sad. I was really in my bed. I saw it. I was like, why? I wanted to scream. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. And I was like, man, it's just I get it. It's you can't control these things, and it sucks. It just sucks. That's why Oda needs to take care of himself. Damn it.
I mean, he has a manuscript already done, and that's the thing.
Yeah, he's got the story.
The Berserk guy just didn't have a manuscript and notes already done for the ending. Because I don't think he thought out that far.
No.
I don't think... Because
he said it. He literally said
he doesn't have a really like a long-going plan for it. Because it's always been like a sort of micro-revenge story.
Yeah, it's like, eventually he will just... The objective is to kill Griffith. That's the idea.
Exactly. That's kind of the end part of that, you know?
Yeah. Maybe it's just a super... Maybe it's a quick chapter where he just pops through, fucking takes his head and runs away. That's it. But yeah, no, I mean, I could tell people are very sad and are just really just frustrated. But But you know what's
going to get an ending?
Not Hunter x Hunter.
Not that. Tokyo Revengers is in the final arc right now.
Really?
Yeah, they announced the final arc of Tokyo Revengers. Well, that's why it's getting the anime now, just because it's ending, you know?
Okay.
And that's why a lot of things that I'm kind of realizing is like, okay, right now in Komi, it's like the Komi can't communicate. That's something that also got announced for next year.
That's close to ending, yeah.
It's getting to the point where it's like, yeah, Tadano already asked Komi out, and it's like, okay, so the last couple, I guess this arc is going to be...
She said yes!
It's going to be this entire relationship, how they work together. But they already work together pretty fine. Yeah. It's just establishing boundaries, and that's going to be it. And that's the thing I'm realizing is like, yeah, it's gonna end like within this year.
Yeah, it's weird when romance series eventually like they're like, I like you too. Cool, now we're a couple. It's like oh,
what else are you gonna do?
Now
about
what?
That?
Now what? Well, it's like the Horror Mia situation where it's like they're that's
they just end it. Yeah, that's the ending.
Or like they are a couple, but it's like they have to hide it or some shit, and it's like, but no, yeah, now it's like, okay, that was the whole build up. So time skip.
Probably. But I guess we'll talk about the YouTube situation for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Fucking YouTube. So our account got deleted on Tuesday, and we got access to it on the Wednesday, but then it got striked again.
I think it's something to do with the audio. Like that's YouTube's new thing is that the audio they claim.
Audio. They always it's not even that. It's not even that. So I'll share our little tweet threads. All right, so this is going back to Tuesday at Team YouTube. Hey, our channel is taken down, and they said it was due to scams. It's clearly a mistake on your end. We already filled out the form. Can you put us on the nice list, pretty please? Their response: thanks for the tag. Recommend reading the email we sent to your channel suspension. More info about account terminations here. They do a YouTube link to like their fucking FAQs.
Basically, just fuck off.
Since you submitted an appeal, it's best way to result to that. It's got to do your next step. But those emails literally don't do anything. So basically, the emails that you get is, hi, blank channel. We have reviewed your content and found severe or repeat violations of community guidelines. Because of this, we have removed your channel from YouTube. We know this is probably very upsetting news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. We think that channel severely violates your policies. We'll take it down to protect others, but you have to believe it made a strong wrong call. You can appeal this decision. You can find out more information about policy in the question and how to submit an appeal. So if you submit the appeal, blah, 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 yeah, you just link it. But what the policy says, you go to learn more. It leads you to spam, deceptive practices, and scam policies. This literally has been changed into the entire do not spread misinformation about the election. We don't. This is literally an entire don't spread fake news.
Did we do anything like that?
No.
We didn't.
Never have. Never. We talk about like, oh, Joe Biden's our president. Thank God. That's it. That is it.
That's so dumb.
And they don't even try to fucking clear answer about when you get your channel back. Being like, oh, yeah, so this is what happens like on our end. So like so going forward to this morning, right?
Yeah.
I wake up at 5 a.m. like I do every morning because I'm a fucking narcoleptic and can't sleep. So I tweet out, "This is absurd." At Team YouTube has decided again as of 3:35 a.m. to take down our channel. This is getting really annoying. There has to be some way for us to be cleared on a list. Hashtag YouTube system is broken. It needs to be fixed. Hashtag animation. Hashtag YouTubers. Hashtag YouTube channel. They reply, "As we've shared previously, if you've already submitted an appeal, we recommend waiting for a result via email," which we have. Note that we have fewer people on review teams, so delays can happen due to COVID-19's impact on our workforce. Appreciate your patience in the meantime. What the fuck does that mean, YouTube? You are online. You're on a computer. I understand if people have COVID-19 or are at home, but you need a secure connection. That's fine. Set up a fucking VPN like every other goddamn company. But you don't. That's something that's obviously broken. So fix your goddamn system, YouTube. Then I reply, "We'll wait for the appeal, but this is the second time in the span of a day. There must be some better feedback on what's triggering your robot to mark our channel." They reply, "We have passed this along for you. We'll reach out once again. We have an update to share." They're not going to reply to me. I guarantee it.
It just doesn't make any sense. I can't think of anything we could have said that would have or done this. Like, it's just so dumb.
It's just so benign. It's just like, oh, it's like not even a copyright check. If a copyright check, that'd be fine, because we're talking about like fucking like news and like movies.
Yeah, we're talking about shows, movies, stuff like that. But like, if it's like political speaking, like, I don't talk about politics.
We don't do politics. That's the thing. We don't do politics.
I might make a stupid joke occasionally, maybe once or twice in a span of like 3 weeks. But no, I can't think of anything we would have said that have done this. It's so stupid.
It's just fucking dumb, and I hate YouTube. I just hate it. I hate.
I'm sure at some point, like when they go back and they show us or something like that, be like, "Oh yeah, you see, you said this one little thing." I'm like, okay, well, does that qualify for us losing the channel?
Exactly. It's just like we make shitty jokes. Sometimes that's fine. If you're deleting our channel because of our shitty jokes, I agree with that. That's on us. But like, you need to say we're making shitty jokes.
But at least give us a warning.
Exactly. It's like your systems do not work overall.
Yeah.
These guideline systems do not help anyone in whatsoever.
Stupid. It's just silly.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Silly poo-poo head.
And that's why we're on Spotify. And that's why
Shout
our
out to
podcasts
Spotify.
Are on different platforms besides YouTube. So go check out that if this ever goes up on YouTube. Let's do
outro. No, I was gonna say, what's a popular YouTube thing that YouTube likes in the algorithm?
I mean, anime is popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we talk about anime though, so we always talk about that. So it doesn't matter. I think that's it for today, though. I'm raged out right now. I'm just absolutely fucking livid about YouTube and this entire situation. So thank you guys for listening to our Rage Induced podcast.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.